This is not a video where I pretend to know a lot about a subject and form a well-crafted argument. Rather, it's just me talking, ranting about a topic because I really want to make a video gushing about Jurassic Park. So allow me to vomit words for however many minutes this video is. Jurassic Park 1993 is my most favorite film of all time. I have watched it quite literally more than 1,000 times. I'll never forget that faithful yellow evening when I was just a toddler. My father brought home a DVD of a dino film because I'd never shut up about dinosaurs. With my father on my right side and my mother on my left, we watched the film as the sun turned orange outside. It's one of my core memories now. I can talk about the original all day and never get tired of it, but this video is about one specific aspect of one of its key characters, Dr. Hammond, amazingly played by Richard Attenborough. One of the many ways you can make a story interesting is present your characters with conflict. Give them a problem to solve and have them solve it in interesting ways that make sense for their character. In the Jurassic films, all of the park owners, as I call them, have one common conflict, or theme rather. They all want control. They want to control the park, control their employees, control the dinosaurs. They want to play God. While all of them share this trait, they act upon it differently. That's where the title of this video comes in. Of course, we all know what subtlety is, show, don't tell, yada yada yada. One of the gravest sins you can commit as a writer is explicitly telling your audience what to think, because that's not how real humans work. You don't tell a child who ate a shit ton of candies, "Hey little Timmy, you have consumed 34 candies in a short amount of time, which is why you are experiencing stomach pain. Take this pill." No, you don't. You just give them a stern look and hand them the pill, and the facial expression is enough. Never once does John Hammond say, "I want to control these animals, this park." No, it's all implied in his contradictions. He constantly says, "Spare no expense," yet we see him cutting corners. With the park, its security measures or lack thereof. His employees, which ultimately started a chain reaction of chaos. Even with his own grandchildren in danger, he's still too blind to see the wrong in his ways. And when he's about to say, "We'll do better next time it'll be flawless, next time we'll have control," the moment he's about to say the no-no word, Dr. Sattler immediately stops him before he can even finish his sentence. By the end of the film, when Dr. Grant and the others jump in the Jeep, and Alan says that he won't endorse the park, Hammond agrees, and you can see the anger in his face. He's in the anger stage out of the 5 stages of grief. After finally realizing and accepting his errors, he's overwhelmed, lost. He's the last to get into the helicopter. His face says it all. No dialogue, just his defeated expression looking at the amber. That's it. That's all you need. The viewer will fill in the rest. Now let's talk about Jurassic World 2015. At first I was very critical of it, but now after the release of Dominion and Rebirth on the way, I realized that perhaps I treated it too harshly. It's not the best, but certainly not as bad as I remembered. This time, the park owner is Simon Masrani, played by Irfan Khan. Fantastic actor, rest in peace. Masrani already knows that he can't control the animals, but unlike Hammond, who was contradictory and a hypocrite, Masrani is in denial, which makes for a slightly less interesting character in my opinion. But hey, at least he has a character. More on that later. He so desperately wants control that even after the Indominus has escaped, He sent an asset containment team with non-lethals because he invested $20 million on the asset. He wants to appear as if he actually cares about the animals and his employees, but ultimately it's still an asset to him, one of his many investments. He does realize his errors in the scene with Dr. Wu. He finally comes out of denial and reaches the acceptance stage, and has a sort of a redemption when he pilots the helicopter himself, this time with a minigun attached to it. The helicopter crashes, taking Masrani with it. I have my gripes with the film, but those aside, I like Masrani as a character. While obviously not to the level of Hammond in the original, he still has a certain eccentric park owner charm to him. He makes the same mistakes as Hammond, but he has a little redemption arc. Now, let's finally talk about Dominion. Oh boy, words can't describe how much I despise Dominion, from both a Jurassic Park fan's perspective and a movie fan in general. I can talk about this film for hours, but at this point, everyone and their mother has made hour-long videos trashing on Dominion. The park owner this time, Louis Dodgson, is the most one-dimensional character in a movie full of one-dimensional characters. They took Louis Dodgson and made him Steve Jobs. He has none of the charisma and charm the previous park owners had. But okay, if you want to go the opposite route, then sure, go ahead. But Steve Jobs is not ruthless or sinister like in the novels. He's not even remotely threatening. He's just awkward and shy. He's such a nothing burger of a character. He poses literally no threat to any of the characters. The most he does is take away their jobs. Ooh, so terrifying. And then, the writers of Dominion commit the gravest sin of all during this scene, where Steve Jobs outright says, "We want control."
Yeah.
Yes, tell the audience exactly what the villain wants. No subtlety, no nuance. This scene, among many, is why I absolutely hate Jurassic World Dominion. It treats its audience like children, and even then I'd argue that children deserve better. Steve Jobs does not have an arc or a character. He's the same from beginning to end, and of course this movie tries to do the Dilophosaurus death scene, reminding us, the audience, that we could have been watching a much better movie. Nedry's death in the original had a purpose. He got too greedy, made a grave mistake, disrespected nature, and paid the price. It's also a gruesome scene if you have read the novels, but the film was PG, so they couldn't show everything in detail. Here, Steve Jobs' death scene serves no other purpose than to mimic the previous film's greatness. He doesn't realize the errors of his ideology or sacrifices himself for the safety of others. He just dies, and that's it. Pathetic. To wrap this rant up, I really like the original. The reboot 2015 film is pretty meh, and Dominion is a crime against art itself. If by some miracle a screenwriter stumbles upon this video, please don't treat the audience as if they're stupid. Respect your viewer, and they will respect you back. Thank you for watching this video. I worked hard on it. I know I could have done better, but if you have any suggestions, comments, criticisms, please leave them down below. And hey, perhaps subscribe. It doesn't hurt. Oh well. Bye-bye. By the end of the film, when Dr. Grant and the others jump in the sheep... jump in the sheep.